Another crazy week. We're all trying to hang on by our sweet little fingers, but Elon Musk is ripping the Band-Aid right off and everybody can see deep into the wound. And guess what? We were right about everything. And now we get to revel in it. And you do too, baby.
People will say that gender is so complicated and they can't wrap their heads around it. And yet they're deeply familiar with the complexity of sports brackets. They have very strong opinions on the different attributes of vacuum cleaners. The thing is that you choose what you care about. It's never been about comprehension. It's always been about compassion. It's not actually necessary that you understand me. What's necessary is that you respect me. And what's missing right now when it comes to trans and non-binary people is that they don't respect us.
If you have a token white and you're hanging out with your friend group of color, you need to ask permission from everybody in the group to bring your white friend. Like, don't just bring them. Ask for explicit permission from everyone, because just because you're comfortable with them doesn't mean that everybody's comfortable with them. I might not be in the mood to deal with white shenanigans that day. That's all I'm saying. And another thing, it feeds into their ego. Like, don't let them think they're a good white person.
Hello, I'm not Magpie, I'm Tal, but I can explain. So Magpie's pronoun set is it, bug, dirt, they, right? It and they are used normally. So its name is Magpie, the sweater belongs to it, and it was going by itself. And then their name is Magpie, this belongs to them, they were going by themselves. For Bug, it would be Bug's name is Magpie, the sweater belongs to Bug, Bug was going by Bug's self. And then for Dirt, it would be Dirt is Magpie, the sweater belongs to Dirt, Dirt was going by Dirt's self.
All right.
If any of you teachers are using the program
If you're thinking that was crazy, that's because you're right. That was freaking crazy.
Which one?
I mean, all of them. The first one he's talking about, it's the people are able to memorize sports brackets and everything, but nobody wants to have to learn the 37 backflips you have to do in order to not offend a trans person. And that's because that's right. Like in regular society, like when shit has to get done, like the only reason you're allowed to make this kind of a stink about something is if everybody is so comfortable that you can afford to make this amount of a stink about something. Right. Imagine there's a sinking ship. And you're like, dude, grab the life jacket. It's not, dude.
Respect my pronouns first.
Right. I'm not. I'd rather die. You know, it's just like, okay, so clearly you're so well taken care of in this society that you have time to care about this. Okay?
Right.
So that's the first thing that's just like, yeah, dude, that's weird. By the way, shave your shoulders. How about that?
Oh my gosh.
Even when I take a shirt off, my wife's like, honey, we gotta shave your shoulders.
Have you seen him before? Have you seen that guy?
That fella?
I don't remember his name. He came out like 2 years ago or whatever, and he was like, I remember he said like, let's just call him Bob. Hi, my name's Bob. They did like this whole feature. My name's Bob, and I'm a non-binary something transgender Muslim something. And I was like,
do the Muslims know that he's Muslim?
That's what she presented themselves as. So I was like, how does that work? That's what I was thinking.
Hey, it would be easy to pass as a trans person in Muslim countries, though. You just get a hijab.
The burqa. Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Get them eyebrows done well, buddy. You know? Guys, I want you to meet my dad, Mr. James Bennett.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Hey, there we go.
The legend.
The man himself.
I got it all from him, ladies and gentlemen. The original comedian. Welcome to the podcast, Dad. Welcome to the show.
This is going to be a real learning experience for me.
Well, just act like everything's normal. You're just talking to me now.
All right. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
You know, just from what I've heard in the last 3 minutes.
Right.
You know, this is all, to me, is all brand new stuff.
Right.
Okay.
You know, so I'm like, daggone, are you serious?
Yeah.
You know, that's what
like that level of racism already.
Yeah.
Like, don't just bring your white friend to the party.
Right.
Make sure everybody's comfortable with white people at the party. What? Could you imagine if you said that? Hey, don't just bring a black guy. Don't you just bring, Deontay. Make sure I might not want to deal with black people shenanigans today. That's what she said.
That's what she
Right.
said.
That
You
is
can't
what she
say
said.
that sentence. You know what I mean? Like in
Yeah.
any other setting, that is straight up racism.
Do you
But no,
stay
that's
away?
right.
Do you stay away from politics because of things like that, or do
Well,
you kind of?
My position at work, I work with everyone. So because I do, I'm extremely neutral.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
because I really like my job and I like everybody there.
Right.
And so I'm not going to step on anything
Right.
that would disrupt the workplace because I'm there for 8 hours.
Right.
And everybody there knows that I treat everybody the same.
Right.
Yeah. Because
And I
that's the
did-
way it's supposed to be.
'Cause
Right.
that's what I do. That's what I do at work. You know, I don't, you know, sometimes I have extra money. Somebody might need it. You know, I don't even blink. I just,
Right.
you know, loan them the money and it don't matter to me what color he is.
Right.
Right.
You know, you just,
It don't matter what color he is. But I ain't giving no money to no women now. You hear he like starts out with something real bigoted. You're like, and then you wouldn't believe it. This out of the middle of Tennessee came in there walking with her thigh. And it just starts going off.
Oh my
No,
god.
but so I mean, so that's blatant racism. And then the third video was somebody telling you that their pronouns were magpie, dirt, and something else. And we're supposed to use that? Like you just invented a whole language.
Didn't she say it as well? I felt like I heard it.
I don't know.
I heard it as well. I thought that. I don't know. And I was trying to see if she had bones hanging from her earrings or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that
Right?
was.
I was like that. I was like, oh, but no, I agree. Why are we going down these pronoun streets and rabbit holes and all this good stuff? I don't understand.
That's a world. The only way you could go about that kind of a thing would be you thinking to yourself, the world is supposed to assist me in being.
Right.
Whereas the idea for the last however long humans have existed is you have to exist despite the world trying to kill you.
Right.
And now the whole thing is turned upside down. We're like, the world better assist everything you need in life or else it's not fair. And it's just like, dude, that's the whole planet. The whole planet is that way. You go in Africa for a little while. The cheetah will eat you if you aren't fast enough, buddy.
Right.
It's not going to, you know what I mean? Like, that's life. You don't get to tell everybody else to change so that you can do things better.
What's even
feel
worse,
better.
there's a video that that came out, a TikTok video of a lady changing her pronouns from her to they, and she said her family was having a hard time complying with the new pronouns. So she made a TikTok tutorial video on how to clicker train your family on using the correct clicker for a dog. That's exactly what I mean.
One of them clickers.
Like, yeah, for a animal on her own family.
So for everybody that doesn't know what a clicker training is, that's when you are saying, hey, sit, and then your dog obeys. You make the click noise so they know that they obeyed you just then, and they get used to the click noise giving them a reward.
Right.
Anyway, so that's that. Yeah, bonkers.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fleckas. Shout out Austin, my boy. Thanks for making the videos, dude. I love Flecka's show, by the way. Him and Richard Ratboy. It's the funniest show that I've seen.
Me too. What I have to ask you, as a parent, how would you react to, let's just say Ross coming up and not liking that you're not remembering his pronouns, so it comes to Thanksgiving dinner with a clicker? I'd like to get your...
emphasizing my house with a clicker. You know, what are we doing with this? This is so I'll let you know when you're speaking right. Let me understand this correctly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me when I'm speaking right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I understand what you're saying. Okay, let me see that clicker.
Yeah.
Just like, no, I just want to look at it. I don't. Let me have it, please. And once I get it, then this is where it's going to be in my end for the rest of your duration at my house.
Right.
Because we ain't clicking nothing here.
Right.
You know, you don't tell nobody nothing. We know how to act.
Right.
We know what to say.
We're okay. You came into my house.
Right.
It exists before you got here.
Yeah.
It'll exist when you leave.
That's exactly right.
And you're going to listen to the way it works.
Right. The way that she put it too, it sounds like they were just like kind of tripping over it, just having a hard time because, you know, it's probably their daughter or sister or cousin, all those
What
years.
if it was dirt? I mean,
Dirt. What was the other one? Gosh, I don't even
Magpie.
There we go.
Hey, Magpie. So that's like their new version of her. They don't want to be called her because they want to deny, you know, the gender that they are.
Oh, yeah.
So they have new ways of basically accomplishing that.
So this is what's going on?
Right. I
Yes.
was going to say he doesn't know the pronoun thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
imagine I decide tomorrow that I want to be a girl. Okay. Traditionally, I would just be like, I'm a girl today. Now, this is a real thing. People decide daily what they want to be. In fact, some of them have buttons. And if it's blue that day, the people around them know that they're a he or a him. And then they flip it over and it's a red the next day or a pink. And that means they're a girl that day. And so the people around them have to respond to them that way. I have people in Hollywood that'll message me. They're dressers. They give them the clothing to the celebrities, and certain celebrities will have different buttons on each day, and they have to refer to them as the pronoun that they picked on. And sometimes they don't even know what they are. And so people, instead of just saying him or her, that's already like a violation of regular rational thought and of some languages. Like whole languages are based on it, whether it's a male or a female, like in almost the entire Latin language, you know, like every language that came from Latin, you know, like El Camino, you know, is the Camino, but it's masculine, right? It's not La Camino. That would be La Camina, you know, or whatever. But anyway, so that's the whole entire Spanish language is basically based on that. But so anyway, the point is now they've gone a step further for people that are like, I'm not just a him or a her. I am different than even those two things, as if there's other options.
There's wolfkin.
Yes.
Wolfkin.
Wolfkin, kittenkin. They think that they're cats.
So if I understand this
is hilarious. My dad's just learning about all this. This is perfect. It's like he woke up in a time capsule and now we're like, yeah, so here's this.
If this is, so they're trying to remake the way we talk.
Yes. And if you don't,
on an individual basis.
Yes, on an individual basis. And if you don't comply, it's in some cases, it's considered hate speech and you can get fines. You can get kicked out of school. You can lose your job. That happens frequently.
It gets better. The example with Ross, I just wanted to say this too, with you saying, I'm deciding I'm a she, her today. He can also just stay exactly like that. And you still have to, if he demands to be she, her.
Yeah, I don't have to wear a wig.
Nothing,
I don't have to do nothing. I can show up just like this and be like, it's she, her.
So we get no help.
Right.
Right.
No help.
You get no indicators.
Except for the button thing that Ross, but not everybody does that. So.
Right. But that's the thing. And so now they're going further than just him and her. And they're saying you have to call, like some of them want to be called Z. Like, where's Z at? Did Z leave his coat? Did Z leave their coat there? Or whatever. You have to use all these stupid new languages because they don't want to be identified as the gender that they were born as.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't know about you guys. This is some extra bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I have a hard enough time just accomplishing regular tasks.
Well,
let me go to the bank and stand in line for 30 minutes. I'm already annoyed. Now I got to learn a new language. I didn't sign up for this.
I'm telling you, you can't. I have never had to deal because I don't know how I would deal with it face to face with somebody saying, you're not talking to me correctly. Oh, I'm sorry. I tell you what, why don't you go talk to him?
Yeah.
Maybe he understands whatever you are claiming to be, because I really don't get it.
Right.
I had a head injury. Maybe that's what's messing me up.
Yeah.
I would go with that because these people are trying to take your job.
Yeah.
Your
Like
livelihood,
if you did that like at a
everything.
job, and you said something like that, like the wrong customer came in and they were like, I want you to, do this and do this to the car or whatever you were doing. And then you were like, okay, man, well, when do you want me to, I'm not a man. Oh, okay. All right, buddy. When do you want me to do that, sir? I'm not a sir. Like, you can lose your job just like that because they have all these little support groups that'll tell these people that you're doing, like, in a world full of lies, you have to have people enforcing the lie or else it gets weird. So they have all these little support groups where they'll be like, no, you're right. You are this, you are that. And then we'll all call into your job together and get him fired. So they just go for it, you know? So they do that a lot, actually. But anyway, so welcome, Dad, to the world of delusion. Now you know why your son's always fussy, because this shit don't make no sense and the world's crazy.
I'm telling you. My goodness.
Well, so we've got some crazy happenings now. Elon Musk has been the MVP, in my opinion, for the last few months now. I know that a lot of people are afraid of maybe Elon Musk, you know, maybe he's working some deep angle and he's going to turn on all of us later on. But as of right now, he's exposed more about how the Democrats and some Republicans, but mostly Democrats and the World Health Organization and all these jokers, he's exposing more of how they are manipulating everybody's a way to understand things than anybody had done before him. And he did it so easily. That's the crazy part about it. It seems like he flicked his pen, bought Twitter, and then 3 days later, he's like, let me just fix all this dumb stuff. And now it's like, oh, we can see everything they did wrong.
I don't know if I feel like, yes, I guess it felt like that for us, but that's a big decision to make. 44 billion. Remember when we did the how many seconds, million seconds versus a billion seconds?
Right.
That's a lot of money. I feel like perhaps he did, but I think, you know, Elon may not be quote unquote like people, lots of conservatives say, oh, you know, he's not on our side. He never was to begin with.
Right.
He's always been a
classical,
a classical liberal. But you know, there may be things that we disagree with him on, but this we can agree on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like, look, at the end of the day, well, like, Dad, what we were talking about was the difference between, like, you know, because he had to buy Twitter for $44 billion, right? Well, so you're like,
it's a social media platform. Do you know how Twitter is? Like,
no, I don't.
Okay. So Twitter is like, basically think of like, I don't know, like almost like a Times Square where you mingle digitally and give information digitally, excuse me, to one another. Like you and I can be talking, but I could also tweet the CEO of Twitter, which is now Elon Musk. So
it's kind of like it's everybody's talking to everybody all the time, and everybody can see what everybody else is saying all the time, and you can always see, you know, who, like Elon Musk can talk to Randy Forbes or something like that and go at Randy Forbes. And then he's like, hey, I like the way your house looks in Virginia or whatever. And then everybody that sees that tweet happen can go, they liked it, or they can comment on it and everything. So it creates this one big conversation that you can't avoid. Well, for a long time, that company censored. They wouldn't let conservative viewpoints even come out. So like the Hunter Biden laptop store, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, that was broke on Twitter. The Hunter Biden laptop story is what proved that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden had business deals in China before all this stuff happened, before he got elected. And so they tried to tell the public about it. New York Posted, one of the oldest magazines in the United States, and the way that they announced to the world that, hey, Hunter Biden and his father are making money from China business deals. And Joe Biden said that this isn't happening. It is. We have his laptop.
Something about his son saying it wasn't happening.
Right. Yeah. They said it wasn't happening. And then New York Post put on Twitter, yes, it is. Here's the laptop. Pictures,
everything.
Emails, everything. And so everybody was like, holy crap. And then it was like, that was enough to turn the tide of the election. And then Twitter smashed all of it. Anybody that was saying it, they banned them from the platform. Right. They weren't allowed to talk anymore. And then they started doing it to everybody, important people, right? Well, so we knew this happened. We didn't know how it happened. And so now we look at it. Because they kept
denying it.
Yeah, because they kept denying that it was happening. So now we look at it, and Elon Musk has all the communication inside of Twitter. They were talking to each other going, I just got an email from the Biden team. They need us to censor these 5 individuals. Go ahead and take their accounts down or whatever. And Twitter, who's supposed to be unbiased and is supposed to be going, hey, we're just the information highway for people to talk and stuff. And they took a side.
It's almost like telephone. You could like telephone, like that'd be them censoring a telephone call, like, cause they don't like what Ross is saying to you on a telephone call. And they're like, yeah, take away his ability to make calls. We don't like that. So you should be able to talk freely. There's business calls that's made, so you can do business on Twitter. There's a lot of things you can do, but imagine being censored because they don't want certain information that you're talking about to Ross or vice versa.
Or viewpoints.
Or not even opinions.
Hate speech. Like saying the sentence like men are men and women are women is hate speech.
Yep.
That is considered hate speech now on the internet, at jobs. Men have a penis and men have a penis and women have a vagina. That sentence is hate speech.
Mm-hmm.
And hate speech can get you fired. It can get you fines. It can get you all kinds of stuff now. Now, in the United States, it can't really get you fines that easily. Yet. In Canada, it is. It's already, you get fines.
I think jail time, right?
Yeah. And in the UK now.
UK as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
The UK just passed something like that recently, I think. But the whole point of all this is that Elon broke it open. He showed everybody the inside communication that was happening between the Biden administration and the Twitter executives that were basically executing on whatever, goals that were there for them to basically smash certain information. So what is that information? Well, number one, the Biden administration was literally emailing Twitter people saying, hey, we need some stuff. You guys need to flag some stuff. And they were like, okay, handled. Like they just did it. Like they were just the yes man for them, which is absolute corruption, and it is election interference. You're not allowing information to get to the population that could alter the results of the election. That is election interference, no matter how you want to put it. And so that's one, big component of this.
Isn't it also information on a politician or a public figure? You can't just, especially politician, you can't manipulate that information once you're a politician. It's illegal, even if it has nothing to do with an election.
You mean like once he says it, you can't alter it? Is that what you're saying?
No. That as a politician, you're not supposed to be doing that, even if it's not an election. Does that make sense? Like telling Twitter, hey, I want you to start censoring. Ross is my political enemy, so I want you to start like censoring him just because I don't like him and I don't want them to see his good policies or anything or see what he's doing. I want you to start to shadow ban him so I get more popular on Twitter.
Right.
That type of stuff. It's illegal all around coming from a politician.
Right. Yeah, well, it's just, you're not supposed to be able to do that. All of this stuff, everything we're hearing about is stuff that you should be like, oh, yeah, that's clearly not fair. I mean, Katie Hobbs just certified her own election in Arizona.
How is that even allowed?
Well, Elon Musk he released those messages.
I saw.
So Katie Hobbs was messaging Twitter saying, hey, take out my opponents, basically, in a couple ways. Well, so anyway, for everybody who's listening, the information that they put out, one of the pieces of information from Elon, it just confirms what we know to be true. So anybody that's just catching up, the Hunter Biden laptop story was real. It was his laptop, and the stuff that was on it completely contradicts what Joe Biden and a lot of Democrats had said about Joe Biden's position and whether he was able to have leverage on him from other countries and stuff like that. And one of the easiest ways to tell what was written on there was Tony Bobulinski's affidavit speech that he gave. So Tony Bobulinski was one of the recipients on an email. So originally when the story broke, basically they said this is all Russian disinformation, and 50 former intelligence agents and former heads of CIA or whatever the hell, 50 of them got together and said, this has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. We guarantee it's not real. Don't worry about this laptop. And they all signed this cool thing, which turned out to be total bullshit. Was real. So they all signed this. And then a week after they signed it, Tony Bobulinski comes out. And Tony Bobulinski is one of the guys that's in the emails between the Bidens.
I was going to say, who is Tony Bobulinski in relation to the Bidens? Who was he again? He was the partner?
He was a business partner of Hunter Biden's.
Okay.
Basically. Okay. And they said that these emails were all fake. And then the dude that's in the emails comes forward and he goes, they're not fake. That's me receiving the email. And let me tell you what it meant. And it meant that 10% to the big guy was Joe Biden.
Yes.
So this deal that we were doing in China, because the vice president's son was Hunter, it was done like this and done like this, and we did it, and Joe Biden got 10% from a Chinese like equity firm or whatever. And so anyway, he was basically proving that Joe Biden had business deals there. He signed an affidavit, everything, made a full video of it, and everybody just swept it under the rug like it didn't freaking happen. And now it's coming back around to bite everybody. Anyway, shout out, Elon. Keep it coming, buddy.
So what would you say? What would you say if somebody kept like insisting that, like, oh, if you have, well, I think there's proof that so and so is doing this wrong, and they're like, oh no, that didn't happen, and you just keep showing proof, and finally, after 2 years,
2 years,
just about, yeah, now they're touching on the subject, and they're trying to spin it around too, because there's a lot of video footage and pictures of him doing methamphetamines and doing a lot of stuff with young ladies of the night, and just all that stuff. The media is trying to say, oh, the Republicans want us to talk about this, but it's inappropriate because it's about nudity and drugs. No, that's not what we're focusing on, because that laptop had a plethora of stuff on it.
Yeah, had a ton of stuff. So basically his laptop, just like this laptop, right? It was synced to his phone. So his laptop had all the information that his phone had in it, all the text messages, all the emails, everything, right? So as soon as this, Hunter Biden's a crackhead, literally. So he accidentally left his laptop at a repair shop for laptops. And their rule was, if you leave a laptop here and you don't pay us and you don't come and contact us for 3 months, that's our laptop now. Mm-hmm. And before you even drop it off, you have to sign something that says that's okay. So Hunter signed it, right? Gave them the laptop and then didn't come get it because he's a crackhead, right? And so the dude who's doing the repairs on the thing fixes, I guess, everything. And then all of a sudden the dude doesn't come back, and he starts looking through it, and he's like, this is Hunter Biden's laptop. And he starts reading. He goes, oh my God, there are so many crimes on here. So before he even sent it to somebody, he made like 4 or 5 copies of it.
Yes.
Gave it to Rudy Giuliani, which was the old mayor in New York, Trump's lawyer too. Right. Gave it to like 3 other people, gave it to the FBI, gave it to everybody. The FBI still doesn't know where it is. They're like, we lost it. We don't know.
They didn't lose it.
We can't find it. Right. You know, it's like, you could send that shit to me and I'd be like, it's in the one drawer. Like, I'm good, you know, or whatever. Like, I know nothing about intelligence, but I know I can save a damn hard copy of something. But so anyway, this all plays out, and Hunter, and basically everybody just tries to call it lies. But in these photos and everything, he's banging probably 25 different women throughout all the pictures, like full-blown sex videos, like sexual
doing
stuff.
The crack while they're doing the sexual stuff.
Dude, he's literally smoking crack while he's getting like done by hookers.
Yes.
You know, so he's like breaking the law on tape multiple times. You know what I'm saying? With like everything possible. He
got there on Air Force 2.
Yeah, so he rode the presidential airplane to go do crack and be with hookers.
That we paid for.
That we paid for, yeah. So anyway, that's a big part of the story. But because this thing's so bad, they're focusing on that, but they're not focusing on the fact that there's emails with business deals where his dad is getting 10% of the money. The vice president is receiving money from business deals from China because his son, he was the son of the vice president. It's the only reason he got those deals. And so the same thing happened in Ukraine with Hunter Biden. He was making money for doing nothing. He was sitting on a board of an oil company called Burisma.
Right, I remember.
Making $85,000 a month, never even showed up to the job, right? Just making 85 grand, basically because it's good to have somebody on our staff that is on the inside of the administration in the U.S. so we can kind of stay in the clear in case things happen. And then Joe Biden, a couple months later, brags about getting the prosecutor fired who was looking at it. Anyway, all this to say, bonkers. Finally, it came out.
Sort of.
We were right. So if anybody's been watching this and getting exhausted, us too. I've been saying this for 2 years now that this has been going on or whatever. And
I would save the leaks because I was like, oh my gosh, they're never going to publish this. Yeah, they're never going to admit to this. So I started everything that I would come across as soon as it was posted. I'd be like screen record and grab and everything, just because it's like, that stuff is going to disappear. Like something disappeared recently. Zelensky saying that he was shutting down churches and everything, and he's arresting priests and everything like that. They've been taking that video down of him announcing that, oh no, we're going to stop churches, basically shut down all the TV stations. There's only one state-ran TV station or a few that are state-ran that he is allowing. Other than that, now he's getting rid of religion. And everything.
Zelensky's the president of Ukraine.
Oh, yes, of Ukraine.
Let me just read this real quick, though, just so you have an idea of how much money we've sent these people. Okay. So 1 million seconds, right? Like $1 million bucks. Like think in those terms. 1 million seconds is 12 days, right? How many seconds do you think a billion is? If a million seconds is 12 full days, how many days do you think a billion is? Just ballpark.
I'm gonna ballpark at a year.
Okay, so 1 million
Ballpark
is 12
at a
days.
year.
Let's see what a
Billion.
billion.
31 years is a billion seconds. A billion seconds is 31 years. We've sent $100 billion to Ukraine.
Yep.
And the Pentagon just 5 days ago said that they couldn't find
yes.
more than two and a half.
It was like, 2 point something
2
trillion.
point something trillion dollars. A trillion seconds is 31,688 years. So the amount of money that we're talking about that they can't find is, I mean, it's like you lost the Titanic in your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not possible, so.
It feels so impossible.
Yeah. So the Pentagon, the United States, the people that run our entire budget, that all the taxpayers funnel all their money to these jokers, type of thing. And then they're like, spend all this money, I guess, on different stuff. Well, they lost 2.5-ish trillion dollars. No big deal. Literally enough money to like solve every world problem 10 times.
Gone.
What's crazy is we did the math, me and Tina, the other week on the amount of money that we sent to the Ukraine, Dad. And we were like, well, how much money is, 40, how much, that was back when it was 65 billion. That's when me and you did the math.
Yes. We were saying 70, but we were being generous and saying like 65.
Yeah. We were like 65 billion.
At that point.
At that point, it was like 65 billion is what we had sent over to them. So I was like, what kind of problems could that amount of money from the United States solve? What kind of problems could it solve in the United States? And not that I'm for this, because I don't think we should do this with our money. But if we're going to throw it to Ukraine where it just goes to disappear, I'd rather throw it somewhere else. But we did all the math. You could purchase every single homeless person in the entire United States. You could get them a paid off trailer, a paid off piece of land for that trailer to go on, a paid off car, and a paid off wardrobe for them to be able to look good, be in a good, clean house, the whole 9 yards. You could have done that. For the money we've already sent to Ukraine, you could have bought every homeless person in the United States a full house, a wardrobe, and a new freaking car. And the left is supposed to be about that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the left is always, they're trying to act like they're the friend of the underdog, right? Well, we're blowing that much money, just sending it to Ukraine. And they themselves, even the left will say that they don't know where the money's going when it gets there. So all of this is just, in our opinion, a money laundering scheme where they're sending money over there and then it's getting rerouted to the politicians that helped send money over there. You know what I mean? Where it just comes back to the Democrats and some of the rhinos, which is Republicans that are corrupt. So anyway, now we're at 100 billion.
It's a lot.
Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, was in the Financial Times as like the world's whatever man, which I couldn't believe that. It's like, yeah, no wonder he's just rolling and mining your money.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you at this point, I've given that guy $10. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He's got that percentage of the taxpayer dollars. I mean, I'm being funny, but
no. That's all you can do. You could just laugh because you want to cry.
I don't know what to say, to be honest.
I know it's a lot.
It's so much, and I'm like, dang on.
Yeah.
So in all reality, they could pay off our national debt
with, what are we, 32 or 33 trillion?
Oh, are we? I didn't know we were that.
Yeah.
We're up there.
But I don't know who it's to.
But I mean, that means we didn't have that we couldn't afford to lose that, basically.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm in debt, I don't go buy new stuff.
No.
I'm like,
right. Well, they won't let us.
Right. Yeah.
We just can't keep buying things. No, man, you're spent, Bubba.
Yeah.
Set this one out.
Yeah. I don't know who's on the line for the U.S.'s debt, but it ain't us. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's out there going like,
our children.
Like, what is it? 20% China or something like that. 9% or some big percent of it's actually Japan. Japan, which it makes sense. Japan seems like they would have money to lend, doesn't it?
Right.
Those guys, those guys got it down.
Yes.
Nagasaki, well, that guy has got his finances in order, right? Whoever's name ends in Saki, that bastard is organized. All right? There's one thing I know. No wonder come on. Toyota, Honda.
I was just about to say.
They're all Japanese makes and models, and man, they just last forever.
Can't kill them.
You can't kill them.
Mm-mm.
That's why I got a Honda.
I love
American cars, but like you can't compete.
Not anymore. They're just not made like they are anymore, but it's because they've moved all the factories and like, sometimes they'll say like, yeah, made in the US, but it's just like assembled. Some of it's like finished off here. A lot of it, right. is overseas. So they're just not as good. Like Ford used to be a pretty darn good company. And now you don't see a lot of old school, like old Fords on the road, except for the ones from the 80s,
Right.
And I just feel like Chevy's gone downhill too. I have a Chevy, so.
Well, Chevy's also, GM's had so many daggone bailouts, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I know Ford didn't get a bailout. They didn't do the bailout that the GM did in 08 and all that. I guess it was 08 GM got bailed out some year.
Yes.
But either way, that's another thing. Bailouts are kind of like a cheap, that's not really fair,
Why
dude.
are we bailing them out? If your company model stunk, then you didn't do it right. If I start a business and it fails because of whatever, I make a bad product, whatever, I just don't run my company correctly, they basically say, sorry, try again. I have to say, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Now I'm in debt. I got to figure stuff out. I got to be better.
Right.
Yeah, but not GM. You guys can suck and literally spend more money than you are making for like 10 years.
Yes.
And then go down the shitter. And then instead of you going down the shitter like you're supposed to, they're like, all right,
we'll take money from all the people.
We'll take money from everybody and then allow you to keep being a company because we need you to keep existing in order for us to be able to accomplish XYZ. I'm sorry, XYZ is not that important right now.
Right.
Ditch these jokers. You know what I mean? Like you gotta, everybody else has to do this.
Right.
Like it's not like, it's like you said, Dad, we're not allowed to do that. You can't suck consistently. That's another thing too, is they've made the people are incapable of climbing out of the hole that they're in. Mm-hmm. And then when you're in that hole and everything's miserable, the government has one lesson to you. Would you like assistance in suicide? Show that. That's legit. They are assisting people in suicide in Canada now.
This is, in Canada.
People that are young, old, doesn't matter how old you are. If you want to die, they'll help you die.
Well,
they'll just help kill you.
Let me show you the commercial. I'm going to show you guys this commercial.
Yes, bring this up.
Last breaths are sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see bubbles. I see the ocean. I see music. Even now, as I seek help to end my life, there is still so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it.
All is beauty, including killing yourself.
I mean, can you look at how they're trying to
glorify?
Yeah, to make it
glamorize.
To make it something worth going after.
Right. That was an advertisement. You know what I mean? That is an advertisement for suicide.
Look how
Raise your hand if you know when somebody's shitty. When they help make advertisements for more people to commit suicide, it qualifies as a to do. You might as well buy him the gun, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I couldn't believe that when I saw it. I could not believe it. The way they just tried to make it seem so ethereal and very like, it looked like a theme park almost that you'd want to go to.
And where's that?
Canada.
Canada.
Okay.
Up north.
That's a real commercial. Whatever
Satan's just down there. He's just watching all this and he's like,
that's actually a really good ad. It's a good advertisement. It's not so bad. Just end it a little sooner than necessary. It's fine. Your mom and dad aren't gonna miss you. The 13 generations that came before you that had to suffer and try really hard, all of them were looking at you 13 years down the road, 13 generations, and you just decided to hang it up. What a gift to me. vote for Biden.
That's a perfect commercial.
I love this thing. This thing's so fun. But anyway.
No, and so you found an article today on with the assisted suicide. What happened with this Trudeau thing? Here it is. Canadian Paralympian veteran offered suicide by Trudeau government after asking for an in-home chairlift.
Yes.
Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah, she was having trouble getting around in her house because she's paralyzed in some kind of way.
Okay.
And I suppose instead of a
wow,
like, hey, we'll help you get that chair that you need, they were like, we can help you get the chair, or would you like to commit suicide?
There's a quote here. Madam, if you are really so desperate, we can give you medical assistance in dying now. Paralympian Christine Gunther reportedly was told by a Veterans Affairs Canada caseworker. She just wanted a chairlift, and they said, oh, we'll help you get to the other side if you want instead.
A shorter ride.
Yeah, it's a way shorter ride. Well, first off, before we go down this road, do you even like your kids? I just need to know before I offer you this next thing, because it's fucking weird. You know,
Right.
this next thing. Anyway.
I can't believe that. Could you imagine like serving your country and obviously she's paralyzed. Could you imagine serving your country and then like trying to go through the hoops to get the assistance that you deserve, fighting for your country and doing what you need to do? And they say, well, we can't help you there, but if you'd like to be 6 feet under, we got you.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's evil. That's sick.
Evil.
That's genocidal. It's genocidal.
Yes.
And it targets people with mental health issues. It will end up with that. And who is helping to perpetuate the mental health issues? The pharmaceutical company by far.
Yeah.
You know, and then
the whole
school,
medical community.
The whole everybody. So you've got a conveyor belt. They always are complaining. Every single freaking Planet Earth video, you hear Richard Attenborough or David Attenborough. Oh dear, her departure says it all. This is usually the home of the rhinoceri, but they have actually not come here anymore because, well, you guessed it, humans.
Too many people.
Too many people have ventured to this spot, killing off the rhinoceri. You know, so they're putting all this out there.
And they're trying to make
you're
you
evil,
think,
evil.
yes.
There's too many of you. You're causing too much issues.
Don't have kids. Mm-hmm.
That's actually the most selfless thing that you can do is not have kids. That's a common thing in colleges now. They're saying you're selfish if you want more than one kid, or it'd be better if you just had no kids.
Dogs.
Which the only people that say that shit, are people that where it's coming from is from the people that want to run everything.
Yes.
And they don't want competition for what they want to do. You know, which is why they want to put everybody in cubicles and make you live in a 3-foot section. Like they have this ad for that wall city. Do you remember when I showed that in that one video that I had? It's in Saudi Arabia. They're building this 7-mile city.
I'm gonna look
and
it up.
It is, they take a traditional city and they slap it all together and stack it on itself, and they make a giant wall out of it so that nobody, and you don't even everything's within 3-minute walks. You could walk up to Starbucks, walk up to whatever, but basically they got rid of the ability to do anything.
Oh,
You see
Saudi
it?
Arabia's controversial mega city project, The Line.
Countless governments and companies have taken a stab at building a city of the future. There's Songdo in South Korea, the Alphabet-funded Quayside project in Toronto, which was abandoned in May of last year.
Just fast forward.
And both Singapore communities spread 170 kilometers.
Yep.
It would do away with cars entirely and instead be connected by high-speed rail that would travel the entire length in just 20 minutes. And each individual community would be largely self-contained so that almost anything you could need, be it a school, a doctor, or a quick meal, would be only a 5-minute walk away. The government says the line will run on 100% clean energy and make extensive use of sensors and AI to manage the city's services. And all of this is supposed to be nestled in the pristine natural landscape of the Tabuk province with minimal impact on the environment.
Okay, hit pause.
Now the Saudi crown...
So what you're saying is this is a really eco-friendly prison? You know, like you can't leave. You know, and you saw how when it was all the city was spread out and then they were compiling it into the line.
Right.
It's like, making room for who?
Right.
Who gets to venture out and hunt the gazelles?
Right.
It's not us, is it?
No,
it's not. Oh, it's y'all?
Yeah.
Okay, the people who made the wall city for us to live in. Cool. Which way's my cubicle? You know what I mean? Like I'm supposed to just live in here and I got the little wall and the water gerbil, you know?
Right.
Like that's what they want, dude. That's what they want.
And they probably will be able to, they'll force everyone to be on a plant-based diet or eat bugs, and they get to go out and eat the steaks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they want to. They don't want competition. Look, this is really simple, the simple way of doing this. And I made a funny video about this forever ago, but it's like, if I was like attempting to make sure that no men ever challenged me, I would do to the world what's being done to the world right now. I emasculate all the strong men. Who's the strongest male culture that actually can challenge a world order? The United States the United States citizenry.
Russia
by
now.
far. Yeah, Russia now. Von Kudelman Vosky, bitch. You know, like those guys are no joke.
We're
you know?
just getting softer, and they're like taking dives into frozen lakes and putting it on YouTube. Oh, this is what I do for fun. You know, like I can't do the voice, but you can.
Yeah, this is for fun. You know, but
yes, there you go.
But truly they are like that. You know, I'm 32, you know, and I'm looking at these other dudes that are 32 and I'm like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I got to get it together, man. Luckily, there's no like war that's going to happen like tomorrow because homeboy ain't made for it quite yet. But I could get there in 6 months. But like, there's a thing about brutality too, though, that's just lost because our culture is so soft. Whereas Chinese troops and everything are literally training to be harsher. Training to be literally heartless, you know?
Yes, they're giving them like beer and beef. I read something about that. They're trying to increase their testosterone, and while they're encouraging us to switch,
Decrease.
right, or switch to plant-based and soy and everything like that.
Right.
They're taking their men and they're saying, drink all this beer and eat all this meat only.
Work out, hunt,
yes.
eat, sleep, kill. You know, and then they're us like, you actually might not even be a boy. Have you considered a dress? You know?
Right.
Oh my God, did he call you he? Aren't you a zer? You know, so it's totally different treatments for what you're trying to do. Well, so that is the nature of ideological subversion, which is the primary way in which governments destroy other countries. The goal is to not have to spend any money, is what they say. That's the goal.
Get them from the inside.
Right. Not to not spend any money, but not have to fire a shot. Sorry.
Right.
But yeah, so you just basically make them obsolete through them just becoming shitty, you know, and then you look around and go, oh, that's what's happening. And you go, yep, that's what's happening.
Look at how many university professors and things like that have been compromised as Chinese spies. They're always Chinese spies. You don't see it a lot in the news because they try to keep that down. Like a spec war officer, I think she was a supply officer or something like that, pretty high up there in Central Florida for working with Navy SEALs and stuff like that, was selling certain helmets and I think nods for like night vision and things like that, stuff that nobody's supposed to see. She was sending it to China,
right.
And she was getting paid. I mean, how many other people just haven't gotten caught?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be thousands.
And that is how they're undermining our without, like you said, firing a shot. It's just going and using our own people to do it too, who are greedy and say,
they just pay them. Yeah. And then you have to pay them a lot.
No.
That's the thing. That's the thing about these jokers. The way you control everybody, if you are an entity and you want to control another country, I read of like a full handout one time that was declassified. It was like 2017. And it was the CIA's tools that they use to basically topple another regime or country. And they were explaining the 16 steps that they do. And I was reading them step by step. And I was like, oh my God, because it was incredibly detailed about how they do it. And they're doing the exact same thing here. Yeah. I wish I could find it. I was actually going to find it today, but I can't find it.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is the first thing that they do usually is what they call honeypot operations. And the honeypot operation is they go to your country. Let's say it's Libya, and they're like, we need to topple the entire country of Libya somehow. We got to ruin it so we can rebuild it back the way we want it to be, like we did to Ukraine like 15 years ago or 10 years ago, whenever. So anyway, they go there. They invite a 17-year-old, 16-year-old lady of the evening who looks a little older. They get you shit-faced drunk. You know, you're the politician. They get you shit-faced drunk, and then they get a camera in a room and they invite you to hang out with somebody, and you're all drunk and you're excited. She kisses you, you kiss her. There's a video of it. They take video. The next day you have a meeting with somebody, CIA or whoever. Hey, what's going on? We were noticing that there's a vote coming up for this thing that's going to be happening. Yeah, I saw that too. Great. Well, here's the video of you last night kissing a 15-year-old. Cool. If you don't want that to ever come out, you're going to need to vote no from now on. It's called a honeypot operation. It's basically you get dirt on somebody that you helped create the dirt. You helped create the environment that is career ending worthy, and then you control them all. Well, so that's exactly what they do. And so they did the same thing to Kanye West, which is what he was saying about his handler, saying, hey, you have a couple different options. You can either do what we say and you can tweet what we want you to tweet and quit saying crazy stuff, or I'm going to put you under so many drugs that nobody will recognize you anymore. And they do that kind of stuff all the time to celebrities. So all the Hollywood people, all of them have Twitters and everything, and they'll tweet stuff, and it's not even their thoughts. They're being told what to tweet because they know they've got 50 million people that watch them because they gave them the 50 million people. They picked them up out of the crowd and said, we're going to make you into something so that you can be our spokesman. And then they just own them by make them do something compromising, which is why you have all these celebrities that go crazy, like Mel Gibson, like, all these different people that just go nuts after a while. Mm-hmm. Bill Cosby, right? He got in trouble at the end of his life, basically, as soon as he started talking out about we need to make men accountable again and get these young boys off the streets and give them a father. That's when all the shit about Bill Cosby came out. They pulled the trigger on him. They're like, we have illegal stuff that you did. Now we're going to prove it. So they hold this above everybody. So anyway, long story short, I'm going to give you another example of it. The Bitcoin thing with Candace Owens. Can you bring that up in a second, Tina? But so there's a dude who is a billionaire, and Candace Owens basically is talking about this guy, and he's dead now. And before he died, he said the CIA is attempting to do this to me. You know Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Right.
Jeffrey Epstein, that's what he was doing. That's why Jeffrey Epstein's island, little Epstein's island or whatever, little St. John's Island, where he was caught doing everything and all the politicians would fly there and stuff. It was a massive honeypot operation. That's why they had like 25 cameras in these little individual rooms, so the politicians and people will go in these rooms and do stuff. And then once they know they have dirt on you, then they elevate your status because now they can control you. So the guy who, the 10 people who own XYZ will say, we'll let you play at the halftime show at the Super Bowl. But before we do that, we're going to need to get you on camera doing some other stuff. Well, what's some other stuff? Well, I don't know. I feel like I might want my sucked. And I think I want you to be the guy to do it. And there's a lot of rappers that just line up to do it. In fact, I have a good friend of mine that told me about some of the positions in different movies that were primarily given because a guy had to give fellatio, which is, to the producer.
To another guy.
And so one guy said no. The dude who told me this story, he was like, we said no. And the other guy got the job. So I know the other guy, I know what he did to get the job for Pearl Harbor, actually.
Oh my gosh.
That movie. I'll tell you guys later after it's off.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Whether I like it or whether I don't like it.
Well, just what did you think?
No,
yeah.
wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
These things are in the mix,
mm-hmm.
in the overall mix. If somebody doesn't do something,
right?
Someone has got to stand up and say, "Hey, can we just wait just a minute and think about this?" Nobody's thinking, but I can tell you, it's easy to get hung up in the money scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're broke.
Yeah. And I mean, somebody's down on his luck or her luck or whatever, then it's easy to get that one.
That's true.
Right. And if they're not down on their luck, it's easy to make them down on their luck,
right.
By just having a little bit of law enforcement issues. Oh, what's that? You got a $10,000 court meeting because we told you were guilty for whatever. Even though you never even been in the whatever, don't matter. $10,000 a court case, you still had to pay lawyers and everything to even go to court.
Right.
Even if you're innocent.
These things are happening in front of us. And, right now I'm a little speechless because, I got to digest.
Right.
I'm like, what the hey?
Right.
And I mean, I can tell you that I got friends that there's no way that's happening.
Right.
There's just no way. And well, yeah, it is too, Holmes. You just don't realize it.
Right.
You know, unless you, I don't even know that you could put it right in front of, some people. I don't know that you could put it right in front of them.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You can't.
And say, look, look, do you see this? And it's like, refuse to see. They got their blinders on.
Well, that's what we find a lot of times, man. We'll be, telling some people like, hey, that was me. That's the reason I started doing this, because I was on Facebook arguing with people, and dumb people who didn't know anything would get in my comments, and they'd be like, no, you did this. And I'd be like, dog, I'd spent 2 hours going through every damn word of this document. You can tell me it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, people that just, they hear one mainstream thing that's been debunked. The mainstream media debunked the Hunter Biden laptop story. And I'd be like, no, they didn't. I just read Tony Bobulinski's affidavit, where him explaining and I'd be having these stupid conversations online, and people would be arguing with me.
It's like a .gov website, and they still won't listen. You're like, it's .gov.
Yeah,
this is it right
it's
here.
It's not possible to be a lie. Do you understand? I'm reading the court document, but they don't care. It's not that they don't care. It's that they think that you're crazy because they've been told that you're crazy, and they listened to the media.
Right.
Instead of listening to their friend or used to be friend, which is most of the cases. So that's what actually made me start doing social media comedy stuff, was because there was no other, I couldn't just say it straightforward. I got so mad at the people in my comments that I was like, fine, I'm going to go actually make content to prove you wrong. Like, if I wanted the world to be a bubble world for me, I could demand certain treatment. You know what I mean? But I don't, because the world is dangerous and you're demanding that it not be that way. And that's unrealistic and unreasonable. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we at? An hour and 42 minutes? This is the longest one we've ever done.
I'm so
Guys, congrats. You made it through the whole way. We're going to be back next week with another episode. Awesome to have Tina in. Awesome to have my dad in. God bless you guys. We'll see you next time. Stay strong. You're not crazy. They're crazy. And you can just trust me.
Trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro.